My name is Michael Walsh, owner of the Ski Doctor. I started in 2017 here in Colorado and been in business ever since. I was born in Orlando, Florida. I lived there till I was 10 and I grew up skateboarding. My mom's from France. This plays into it a little bit because she missed seasons. She coming from the French Alps. When I was 10, our family moved us up to East Tennessee, the North Carolina area. And I hated it as a kid. I was like, oh, I'm leaving my school and all my friends and we're going somewhere new. And then she said, well, I'll take you skiing. And like, oh, we'll get you into snow sports, Michael and Chris, my brother Chris. When I saw snow, being a Florida kid, I was infatuated with it. Like, I just love the snow. I love skateboarding. So when I had a chance to try to learn the snowboarding, it was awesome. And our family didn't have a lot. So at Beach Mountain, North Carolina, they had like a free men's night every Tuesday. This is years ago. They don't do that anymore, but that's when we could go and go ski for free. And I got to learn the sport a little bit and I loved it. Further down the line throughout high school and stuff, there's one ski shop in my hometown, Johnson City, Tennessee, called Alpine Ski Center. And it was like the place where all the cool kids worked because there's only like 8 employees there. Everyone wanted to work there. That was at least into like action sports, I guess, in the area. So I went to the boss there all the time and I used to hang out just at that shop and I was like, can you please hire me? Please hire me. I'll do a good job. And eventually they said yes. So I'm in high school. I got this job at the local ski tune shop place. They hooked me up with the season pass, which was huge because I couldn't really afford to just pay for tickets every day, or get a season pass myself at the time. So that allowed me the opportunity to like be able to snowboard, but it also allowed me an opportunity to learn how to tune them. This guy named Jake Boer, he really spent the time to kind of show me everything he knew about tuning. I absolutely loved the industry. I fell in love with it then. Because you got all these people that travel all over the world to go ski and they come to this little shop in my town, and it really expanded my mind to kind of see like a bigger world in the industry. People that are weekend warriors or avid snowboarders or skiers, there's maintenance that needs to be done on the equipment, and that maintenance includes sharpening your edges so that when you're carving on snow, sometimes the snow gets hard, you have the ability to really kind of hold in and not slide out. Having a good edge is what allows you to do those carves and really enjoy the sport, and have control. So that's one part of the maintenance. And then the other is waxing. The wax allows you to glide on the snow. If you just have a base of a snowboard, sometimes it can get sticky, and there's a lot of resorts out there that have what's called traversing. So let's say you go to a new ski resort and you need to traverse, kind of go cut across the mountain. There's a lot of flat areas. Having wax allows you to kind of navigate and keep up with friends and enjoy, and also compete, things like that. Having enough speed to hit jumps, do tricks. So my sole focus has been to keep the performance level up for people so that they, number one, can do good carves, 2, keep up with their friends, 3, explore the mountain. I used to think to myself, like, what skills do I have? Like, what can I do that's for myself? Because I really hated being in the same place every day. I remember I called my parents sometimes. I'm like, I got to get out of this. I was doing valet for a little bit and I really didn't like my job. And then the idea popped into my mind of mobile ski tuning. I got the basic tools and everything I could and kind of threw this van together. It was really it wasn't even a van I could stand up all the way in. And I just made it work. I just put the pieces together. It was November. I think this was 2017. And I had this little makeshift ski tuning rig. And I just went out in the streets and knocked on businesses' doors, said this is what I do, and wasn't really getting traction until I went to the local paper, to Summit Daily here in Colorado, or Summit County. it goes out all over the county. And the next day I had, and mind you, like I wasn't doing well at all with the business. It was not working. Like, but I had like $700 of business the next day, and then it just died. But it told me that this is possible. I just kept with it, and a little further down the road, I had met a guy named Jonathan Buckhouse who had just started a YouTube channel. He was like, "Hey, Michael, like I see you just started this business and stuff, and that's really cool, man. We should go snowboard." And so we exchanged phone numbers, and we eventually went snowboarding. This is around the time where I wasn't doing so good with business, so I had a lot of free time, and this guy was just fun to hang out with. So I started filming with him, and we ended up filming hundreds of days together. Hundreds. We went up to Utah. We ended up going to Alaska and Germany and all these places, but really in the beginning in the region, just filming and stuff. And he started getting a lot of attention, which in return gave me enough attention to start getting some business. And I was like, I'm going to stick this out. I'm going to keep doing the ski dock thing, because when you start a business and you don't see results right away, it'll test you, because like you kind of want to go to your fallback plan. The first van that I had, it really was just kind of makeshift. Like I had spray foam insulation in it, and just some wood that I had kind of like built like rib cage in it, like and put some walls in that were not very aesthetically pleasing. The van itself, man, it was rough. It was a rough patch. I had built it. You know, I didn't quit my job right away when I first got the van. I was still working a couple of months into it at 21. And I think that's probably the hardest I'd ever worked in my life, because I was working these like 12-hour days or 10-hour shifts doing the valet. And then I'd come home and I had to work on this van. And it was night already. So, you know, winter was coming. It was a little cold. And my brother and I, we would just spend, you know, like I get home at like 5 or 6 and we'd work nonstop until midnight for about 2 months straight, trying to put this thing together and not knowing how. I just had a bench originally in the first van with some ski vices. And I remember, gosh, the amount of mistakes and the amount of money I lost in labor and getting the wrong things, that's all part of starting a business. I built that first van and I just didn't think it was presentable. I knew I had to make some changes to the size of the van, the equipment, the insulation, so I'm not as cold. Although the last van was pretty well done, I went all in on this one. You know, it's wool. I probably got like 40 sheep up in this thing. But yeah, I stuffed it up, and I think the biggest breakthrough, the biggest tech change would be probably the infrared waxing machine from Wintersteiger. It's really cool machine. It goes back and forth, and I got the one that has dual infrared bulbs, so it really embeds the wax into the base despite the temperatures of the ski. It'll warm it up and then kind of solidify the paste into the base of the board or ski. And that was really cool, but I ran into some expensive challenges in order to build this. The biggest thing is these things take 220 voltage. They're not... The two machines that I've got in the van is not something that I could run off of lithium ion batteries, which I was operating on the last vehicle. So I wasn't anticipating this expense or this problem to solve, but I had to do it, and I had to do it quickly right before this season. And I wanted the best of the best. So I spent the extra money for a Honda generator. It's a 7000, Honda 7000. And the reason I did mainly was for volume, volume as a noise. Those Honda generators are quiet, and I've observed where I've worked at different bars and stuff, like food trucks, and I don't like that. I don't like the loud noise and the smelly grease and smoke in the air. So I always want to have a very pristine, clean look and sound and appearance. I always like the sleek, simple things. And so I was like, how can I build this to be in a way where it's efficient, looks good, isn't too loud or cumbersome, and I can comfortably work in my vehicle. Once I put all the pieces together, I was on a time crunch because I had some companies reach out to me to do some pretty large events, and if I wouldn't have pulled the trigger to do this new build, I wouldn't have been able to do the jobs. Like, I'm talking like 60, 70 edge and waxes in a 4 or 5 hour time frame for a whole building. And that's impossible to do a quality job with the old way I was doing it. So having the infrared waxer and the professional edger really was a game changer for me and for the clients as well. I'd finished the van on November 3rd. And I say finish, I'd done everything I could do, but then I had to put it in someone else's hands, company, to finish that detailed work, because they had to figure out how to mount all the equipment. And I had put some pretty hefty like requirements on it. I was like, I know you guys have never done this before, but like, I need you guys to mount this. I need you to put the walls in, after I'd already put the insulation in. And they did such a good job. And it was really scary trying to make the decisions of where to place the equipment. I also had to make it removable. So everything other than the wax feature always stays in the van that goes back and forth, the infrared. Stays in the van because I can keep the temperature regulated. But as far as the edging machine, if you're working with multiple people, it's impossible to do it inside the van. It's just not enough space. So I had to make it to where it comes outside of the van. And these guys built everything, all the brackets, in order for it to be secure in place so I can do the individual house calls. But then also when I have the events, everything's removable to come right outside of the van, and I can build a workflow. I love owning my own job, but I've learned to understand that I really want to build systems. This is not something like short term that I want to do that's just me going out and tuning some skis. I want to like build a company that gives someone a cool experience or job that they can provide for themselves. And I don't know how to do this yet, but like, that's my vision. My vision is to like build something that serves a lot of people, give someone the opportunity to make a good living, take care of themselves, and enjoy kind of the life that I've had. I've had an awesome decade since my 20s. I'm just 30 now, and like I want to get more into the event world, and I'm just now kind of stepping into it, and it's working very well. The system's working very well. It's going to take a little bit of time, and that's a big thing, is patience. Take a little time to get recognized in that field. But once I've got it dialed in, I think that the cash flow from the business is going to allow it to scale. You gotta get all the pieces together and build something that be replicated and duplicated. And I really envision ski dock system for both house calls and doing events for big groups in places like Salt Lake City, Denver, Colorado Springs, Vail, and maybe a few others. But those are for starters, like places I think that the business would really thrive and serve a lot of people, because you've got all these people that work their difficult jobs in the cities that all they want to do is, and all they think about in the winter is like, I can't wait to get to the mountain. And it's cumbersome to like, it's like, it's not the industry the way it is today. I want to change, because the number one complaint that I get from folks is, I can't get my skis done. I have to take them to a shop. I have to wait a week. I have to go back and pick it up. And it takes time out of my day. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but I get to sell something that's valuable for people's recreation. And that's what people like really need. But yeah, I think that's the most exciting thing, is to see if I can build systems that are scalable. And I don't know whether to franchise. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do. And I think that what I really need is guidance. I need someone that's maybe done business in a sense that maybe is an investor or something that really sees like, hey, you're onto something and I want to help you grow. I have a lot of faith that God will put those people in my path, and I'm patient for that, but I believe that's going to happen. I believe that someone will be like, hey, Michael, I see what you're doing. I like what you're doing. I see you've been working on it for a long time. I want to help you get there, because I can't do it alone. It's impossible. I don't want to go all in on something and fail. I'd rather be patient and just let it naturally grow each year. And I think that's the best way to go. And I don't want to give up too much equity either. That's another thing. Like, I want to own what I've built. You know, I've worked at it for, I guess, 9 years, 8-9 years, and like, I want to reap those rewards one day. So, and take care of. It's very expensive to live here. I mean, that's a factor. So I want to be able to raise a family and do those things that naturally come with life. And I think this will be my route to do it, and also bring value to a lot of people.